This week in One Piece, OP12 reveal season continues. We had the first 3 majors of the OP10 post-ban format with some very surprising winners, and my recommendations for cards you could pick up now before the release of EBO2 and OP11. So first up for the new cards we had this Morley, and he's not that exciting, but he is a 4/5 2k with the Giant and Revo Army types, and he has the effect if your leader is a Revolutionary Army type, this character gains +4 cost. Nothing too crazy, decent 2k, 4/5 is a very nice stat line, and a little bit harder to remove. Currently the only black Revo Army leader is Red Black Sabo, but this does make me wonder if the black leader in this set will be a Revo Army, potentially a Kuma leader. I'm hoping for a Kuma leader, could be another Sabo, who knows, we'll just have to see. For now, this card will see no play, but if we get a new black Revo Army leader, this is a decent little 2k here. Next up, we had the purple-yellow Rosinante leader. This guy is a 4-life leader with purple-yellow 5k power, nothing funky. Navy, Don Quixote Pirates, not bad types. The existing purple Don Quixote package is okay, but I don't think it synergizes with this guy that well. What he does is once per turn, if your Trafalgar Law were to be KO'd, you can add the top card of your life to your hand instead. So this is KO'd by an effect, or KO'd in battle. Doesn't stop things like bounce effects or things like Red Rock, the bottom deck, but not too bad. A little bit of protection for your laws, and we do have quite a few good laws. And he also has another effect that synergizes with laws as well. Really unique leader. I'm really digging the design style of this set. But yeah, this guy's other effect, activate main once per turn. You can do Dom -1. During this turn, the next Trafalgar Law you play from your hand with a cost of 4 or more will have its cost reduced by 2. So this is going to let you cheat guys out really early, and the fact that this is just activate main Dom -1, combos with a few cards of course, like the 4-cost Camazo, and perhaps 5-cost Kid to get you a bit of Don back. But this effect is honestly pretty cool. There's some laws that we've already got that I'm going to cover in just a moment, and I presume this is going to mean we're going to have more laws. And do remember we got the Rosinante Searcher that searches the top 5 of your deck for specifically law. And we now see why we got that card. Before I was wondering why we got that when we could have just played like the Luffy Supernova Searcher. But it makes more sense now. So in terms of the laws that we might play, here's probably the best 3. The 7/9 law, well, if you can play this out for 5, I mean that's pretty crazy, right? That seems like it's going to be the piece for this deck. So if you're a big Rosinante fan, if you like him as a character, I'd potentially look at picking up some of these secret laws sooner than later. It's going to give you a heal, does not give you the rested Don. I made a mistake in my community post because you're not a Supernova with the Rosinante leader, but will give you a heal and will give you a 7/9, which is pretty good for 5 Don, right? Not bad at all. We also have the blocker law from ST10, not the craziest play in the world, and this will be Don -2 when combined with the Rosinante's effect, but still not bad. 4/5 blocker, sometimes scam some cards. We're probably going to be playing some copies of this. And also this promo law that I covered a little while back now has his home. At the time I thought this card was pretty good, but just didn't see where we were going to play it. Well, now I do see where we're going to play it, and for those that missed, this is a 4/6 blocker, and on play, the number of Don cards you have in play is equal or less than your opponent's, you ramp on as rested. So I guess like the play is, I don't know, on 3 you can swing in for 6, do Don -1 minus the Don that's on your leader, bring this down to 2 cost, play this out for 2, ramp 1 back. So on your 3 Don turn, you've swung 6 and you've played a 4/6 blocker, and you've not negged any Dons. That seems pretty reasonable to me. It's a really nice early game play at least. Sadly, this is a promo and we will probably never get it. Or when we will, it will be £1 million because it's a regional promo. I hate when they put like key pieces of decks as promos. They've done this a few times now. The Buggy is a key piece in the Buggy deck promo. The Adio, the 2k, is a fairly key piece in Lim promo. The 7-cost Kobe, the red one, promo. It's really annoying because you have to wait who knows how long, and then when it does come out, they're sometimes just incredibly expensive. But here we are, I guess. Next up, we got a few more cards for the blue Kuzan leader that I covered a couple of weeks back. This is Kuzan, 6/8 Navy, If your hand size is 5 or greater, this character has +1 cost. So this will only be when it's on the board. This shouldn't work when he's in your hand, so it's not like a downside. This is purely an upside. This is a 7-8 on the board, so long as your hand meets the condition, which is pretty reasonable. Dodges a few key removal effects, such as 9-cost Lin Lin, Raging Tiger, and 6-cost Jozu, which is pretty cool. And on play, you could trash 1 card from your hand. One of your opponent's characters cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So, this is basically Boa. This is the same stat line, same effect. He has the upside of being slightly bigger, but he does have to trash a card. But in Kuzan, that's actually just a benefit because you get a trash one and then you get a draw one. And he's very searchable, obviously, off the 1-cost Tashigi. So I think this will certainly be a staple in the Kuzan deck. You'd have to imagine. 6-8, trash 1, draw 1. Very difficult to remove. Gonna get you out of a swing immediately. Seems good to me. I'm a little bit disappointed that Kuzan didn't get an SR for his own card in his deck, but here we are. At least this one will be cheap. But yeah, this card I think seems decent. We're still waiting on a couple pieces for Kuzan, but the cards are coming together. And here's one that I missed from a few weeks back. I don't know how I missed covering this. It's a 1-1 Rosinante, 1k counter, Navy type. And in your opponent's turn, if one of your blue Navy type characters were to be removed from the board by an effect, you can instead rest this character and discard 1. And do remember, when you discard 1, you're going to get to draw 1 with your Kuzan effect. So it's a cycle. Really good. Shame this doesn't have blocker. Similar to how the 2-cost Rosinante in green works. Obviously, different effects, but he's not a blocker. He's just protection. So if your opponent doesn't have any removal effects, this card doesn't do anything. But generally, I think this is going to be a no-brainer. At least a couple copies in the Kuzan deck. Being able to protect this just for 1 Don and get another cycle seems good. Of course, your opponent will be able to attack into him, but then he's effectively a blocker. So I do think this card is going to be pretty strong in the Kuzan deck. Note, you can play this in other decks, but it only protects blue Navy. Does not protect, for example, big cards in the blue-green Rosinante deck, like 8-cost Kid or something. It's only blue Navy cards. So it's kind of just locked to a Kuzan leader, in my opinion. We also got this Shanks. This is a 2-2 Roger Pirates 1k. And on play, you can give one of your character with Roger Pirates in its types other than Shanks, Rush for the turn. I'm not sure about this one. This seems alright, but we're going to be needing to see what Roger Pirates we get. Currently, the only 2 that you're going to be able to give this to are the 5-cost Silver's Rayleigh and the 8-cost Silver's Rayleigh. And do note, but even though it's former Roger Pirates, it just says Roger Pirates in its types. Similar to how the CP Cypher Pole engine works, this should work with former Roger Pirates or Roger Pirates allies if we get any of those, which is pretty cool. I mean, 10 Don playing out Rayleigh and then giving it Rush doesn't seem too bad, but it does cost a couple cards, so I don't know how much play this is actually going to see. I think if this was a 2k, this would be pretty crazy. But as a 1k, I don't know, but it's obviously designed for the Rayleigh leader. So we'll have to see what characters we get for that and whether or not this is a good card to give them Rush. There's some like Roger Pirates weenies with some really good when attackings. I could see this being a really powerful card. And in terms of red cards, we also got this Buggy, who is very similar to the Shanks, actually. 2-2, 1k, Roger Pirates. On play, you can give up to one of your characters with Roger Pirates in its types other than Buggy blocker for this turn. Now, this I think is slightly more interesting. Being able to give your 10-cost Roger blocker sounds pretty cool. How practical is this going to be? I'm not sure. It's going to very much depend on what other Roger Pirates cards we get. But both this and the Shanks from the previous slide, I think both have the potential to be decent cards. Sanji Leader. Blue-purple. We got this leaked a little while back. And we also have this altar of him. And for those in the comments, no, I do not have any more of those pixels. This was leaked in this condition. So, you know, fight me. But blue-purple Sanji is pretty cool. Straw Hat Crew, Vinsmoke family. I don't believe correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe the Vinsmoke family actually does anything. All of the Germa cards, like from the Reiju package, I believe are locked to Germa, or Germa 6-6 instead of Vinsmoke family. But if there's any that I've forgotten about, please let me know. I don't currently think that does much of anything. But Straw Hat Crew absolutely does. So what he does is, for life, 5k, nothing funky. Blue purple, activate main once per turn, Dom -1. Activate up to one Straw Hat Crew type event card from your hand with an original cost of 3 or less. Strange effect, right? So currently we don't have that many good events to use in this way. And I do have probably the best ones on the next slide. We'll cover those very soon. But if we get some good events in this set, which you'd have to imagine, right? You'd have to imagine we're going to get some 3-cost Straw Hat Crew events. Getting to use them for free seems quite good for just the cost of Don -1. And then when attacking, this guy has another effect. If the number of Don on your board is equal or less than your opponent's, you ramp on as rested. So this effectively undoes your first leader effect. And do remember, let's say, for example, we got that 4-5 Zeph on the before, right? It's 4-5, and when you do Don -1, your leader is Sanji, he gains Rush. So maybe on 4, you play out the Zeph, you do Don -1, activate some kind of event, attack him with the Zeph immediately, attack him with your leader, and ramp back to 4. It seems interesting. Really going to depend on what these events are, of course. And this does, as I speculated before, combo pretty nicely with 5-cost Kid to get you back a Don as active, to let you use that for something else. But yeah, let's talk about the events. So these are about the best ones. These two on the right, I'm less sold on because they're Don -2. And note, the effect of Sanji will only pay the Don cost. It doesn't cover this like bold action cost. So you won't have to pay 2 Don, but you will have to do Don -2. And combined with this, that's Don -3. Once you get to 10 Don, that's not too bad, but in the early game, it's a little rough. But either way, it's not bad. A free KO on a 6k power unit seems quite compelling. It's not too bad at all. And this jump rope rests to 5 and then draws a card. Again, Don -3 is very expensive, but this could be cute as like a 1 or 2 of to go for game. Although we do have Uso Hachi, so do you really need it? Yeah, I'm not sure. What I think is a little bit more exciting, we've got Let's Crash the Wedding. It's just a 1-cost Straw Hat Searcher. Nothing too crazy. But being able to use this for free, it's pretty cool. It gives you a reason to play this over like some of the character searchers, like maybe the lore. Because you can just do it for free, which is alright. And then got Gum Gum Jet Culverin. This is probably the biggest payoff so far. It's not that great. 3-cost event, bottom of 4. It's alright. If you can do it for free, a free bottom on a 4 is pretty good, the same way that a free KO on a 6k power unit is. Which of these is better? I'm edging towards Gum Gum Jet Culverin currently because it doesn't do Don -3. Don -1 is much more manageable by these when attacking effect. Don -3 is pretty crazy. But yeah, I imagine we will see some copies of Gum Gum Jet Culverin in the Sanji deck, but we are going to need more events for him for that effect to be particularly useful. In terms of characters, you've got the blue Straw Hat stuff from OP11. We've not really seen that much success from that outside of the 5-6 Nami blocker, but I imagine we will see that Nami blocker, see some play in that deck. Other cards, Giant, of course, we're a purple Straw Hat leader. We're going to be playing Giant, one of the most broken cards ever printed, in my opinion. Certainly the best counter event ever printed, and there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be playing 4 of them. Gear 2 can ramp, but this leader doesn't really seem to want to ramp because you're constantly doing Don -1, which is then going to offset this, so I'm not sure whether we're actually playing this. And do note, you can activate Gear 2, and it like sucks because you're doing Don -1 and you still have to pay 2 to ramp a Don, so you're just doing absolutely nothing. Kind of funny though. Reiju, maybe. We have some manipulation over the amount of Don on our field, so maybe you can draw a couple cards of Reiju. Do note we can't use the babies. They're all locked to Germa, sadly. This one costs Nami from set 9. Could come up if there are enough good blue events specifically. But I'm imagining the Straw Hat stuff's going to be purple in this set. Because the blue stuff presumably is navy. Who knows? I'm not sure. And then, of course, Kid. As I mentioned before, when you have an Activate main, Don -1, and just combos very well with Kid to get you that Don back immediately. And then you can use it even to attack with your leader. Next card we got was Miss All Sunday, and this is a really weird one. 451k Baroque works. On play, KO 3, and then your opponent may choose to ramp a Don and set it as active. The trigger is Don -1 play this character. I mean, a 4-5 that KOs a 3 is alright, but letting your opponent ramp feels pretty horrific. I guess in Sanji, your opponent ramps and then they're equal to you, so then you ramp. But like, ramp's way less powerful if you're just letting your opponent do it too. It's supposed to be about gaining an advantage. Just accelerating the board state doesn't feel that powerful. I'm not sure about this card. I don't really see the vision, but maybe we'll get something that makes this better in the rest of the set. In terms of the rest of the news, we got this update. I'm not sure if this information is actually new, but OP12 will be coming out on May 9th. We've got an exact date. And these are the ratios of cards you're going to get in there. 9 SRs, 1 secret, that's the Luffy. And 26 special leaders. Oh joy, I can't wait to not collect those in my leader collection because money. We have this weird event, right? This is a new thing they're doing for this season. This is the Pirates League. And I think this is actually a pretty cool idea. So how this is going to work is you're going to attend your store's qualifier event and then you battle. See who is going to be the 3 captains for your store. And then the store can also get up to 10 what's called support members. So this is pretty cool, right? It's like forming your own crew in One Piece. You got your captains, your monster trio, whatever you want to call it, and then 10 crewmates. I'm here for that. That's quite exciting. And everyone will get a guaranteed entry pass to the Season 1 finals. This is just a spectator pass. This is not an invite to the tournament, but you will be able to get into the venue if you qualify either as a support member or a captain for this, which is pretty cool. I'm going to make spectator passes quite hard to come by, I imagine, purely because of the amount of people that are going to get invites like this. And do note, this is NA only. This is not in Europe, unfortunately. So if you're a European or from any other region, sadly, they're not doing this yet. But maybe next season, we'll see. So the finals of this event is going to be at the NA Finals Season 1. Don't believe we have an exact date for this, although it could be this September 21st. So I'm not 100% on that one. But it's going to happen at the NA Finals during the top cut. So if you make top cut, you won't be able to compete in this, even if you qualified. But you can, what they let you do is you promote one of your support crew to the captain. And if it's one of your support crew that qualifies for the top cut, someone else can join your support crew. So you're not going to lose out on any players. How the qualification is going to work is a bit like this. You're going to have a classic One Piece event, just Swiss rounds. And then the top 3 will be the 3 captains. And then you get to choose 10 support members, which is pretty cool. Stores will already know if they've been selected to host this. I don't know if this is going to be available at every store. You're going to have to ask your own LGS. And then the prizing, participation, you get a Pirates League participation card. Who knows? You get an event pack Vol 6. That's the one with the limb and the shanks in. 13th to 4th, get the support invitation. Top 3 get the 3 captains invitation. And the winner gets a Pirate League top player card. Again, who knows what this will be. Probably quite exclusive though, and probably quite valuable. In terms of the actual event, you're going to have 5 Swiss rounds. Your 3 captains are going to play against your opposing matchups, 3 captains, in best of 1. And 1 win will get you 10 points. So the support crew, I believe, is going to be sort of a separate thing. So the way I read this as working is your support crew are just going to enter like a massive Swiss tournament. I don't know if they're not going to be able to match each other. It's not very clear because it says solo battle. So I assume this isn't support crew versus support crew. Not sure, but either way, they're going to play matches as well. And 1 win for a support crew member is 1 point. So at the end of the tournament, you're going to have a total amount of points after the 5 rounds. Your captain's obviously going to get the majority of the points, but your support crew's wins are not insignificant, especially where this is multiples of 10. If you can win a lot of support battles, that could easily tip you a few places higher. For participating, you're going to get some Teach sleeves. Top 32 will get a Pirates League finalist card and an offline regional finalist set, which is honestly pretty crazy. And this is going to both the support crew and the 3 captains. So, like, that's a lot of prize cards. Top 16 are going to get a top 64 promo. And 3rd and 2nd will get 3rd and 2nd place medals. And the winning team will get a champion medal and a top 8 promo. That's a crazy amount of promos and, like, finalist cards that they're giving out for this event. Really exciting stuff. I really hope we get more information on exactly how this is going to work, because this format with the support crew is a little unclear. Obviously, this is a classic 3v3, but I'm not sure if this is like one big Swiss tournament or if you're actually playing support crew versus support crew in the same matchups as the 3 captains. But I imagine not. Pretty cool event. As we get more information, I'll keep you updated. And this was the first weekend of the majors for OP10 post-ban. First event I want to cover is the London Regionals. And these were the top 32. We had 8 Shanks, 5 Dofi, 4 Lim, 4 Teach, 4 Usopp, 4 Lucci, 1 Kid, 1 Pluffy, and 1 Zoro. And the conversion rates are here. I've worked them out of the total amount of players. And as you can see, massively positive conversion rates for Lim, Usopp, and Lucci. Pretty crazy. Terrible conversion rates for Pluffy and Zoro. Shanks was the most popular deck in day 1 and was also the most represented deck in day 2. So that's pretty cool. Even though his conversion rate was a little bit low, not bad at all. Doflamingo doing pretty well, even with the bans as well as Lucci. And notably, there were 71 Bonnie players and not one of them made top 32. That's crazy. There were also 23 Reijus and 29 Red-Green Smokers, and none of them made day 2. So really horrific day for Green, honestly, outside of Lim. Bonnie and Smoker getting 0 top 32s, that was a little surprising to me, in all honesty. And of course, massive shout out to Eggman for these graphics, before I forget. All these lists for these leaders are going to be on Eggman's website, so make sure you check out his website if you want to see any of these lists. And this was the winning list. This was the Lim list piloted by Fleshmar. Check out my video yesterday where I played a few games with this list. Really cool list. He said he would cut the top knot because it was bad. But other than that, yeah, it's just really, really unique. We saw this from a Chinoise Cup a while back now. With the Orochi and the Devil Fruit Smile. Very cool. I'm excited to see if this can continue to perform, or if this will peter out now that people know what to expect from these Lim decks. Because I think a lot of people would have been expecting 9-cost Zoros and 10-cost Doflamingos, because that's what Lim lists have been typically playing. And then you just play out like 5s and 3s all game. Really cool, really cool. We also had the Pasadena Regionals over in California. And the top 16 for this was 4 Pluffy, 3 Teach, 3 Shanks, 1 Nami, 1 Dofi, 1 Kid, 1 Zoro, 1 Bonnie, and 1 Lim. So, very different picture to the London one, right? London one, Pluffy did horrifically 1% conversion. Here, 7. Most represented deck in day 2. Very odd. Not really sure what the difference was here. Maybe the Americans are much better at Pluffy. Or maybe Europeans are much better against him. But either way, pretty cool to see Pluffy doing well. And we also saw Nami get a top, which I don't think many people expected, certainly this early. In terms of the conversion rates, these are all a little bit more middling. Note this was a top 16 instead of a top 32. So these might be a little lower overall. As this one did, I think, hit the cap, whereas the London Regional did not quite hit the cap. Either way, pretty cool to see all these decks, and I don't have the conversion rates for some of them, because I don't know how many people played them. Unfortunately, that data was not available. Notably at 0 in this one, we had 26 Lucci players, 20 Usopp players, and 20 Red-Green Smoker players. 1 Bonnie did make it this time. Bonnie escaped. But Smoker being at 0 in both these events, that's pretty sketchy. That's a real shame, because I thought that deck was going to be pretty popular and pretty powerful coming into this format. But I guess maybe the Shanks matchup and some other matchups are just too bad. You let me know what you think. Here is the winner. This was Unlikely Hero, with an unlikely winning deck, honestly. Nami. Not many people would have expected this, I don't think. Not this early. Nothing too crazy in this list. We've got 2 of the Nojiko, which I guess is pretty cool for bouncing 5s. And we've got 2 of the Arabesque Brick Fist to pick up your own Kaya, with just 2 of the Snake Dance. Arabesque Brick Fist, a bit more aggressive. If your opponent's just not swinging, you can use it to get some pretty crazy value. And we also do see 1 of the Raging Tiger. I'm not sure how much this came up, but pretty cool to see it. This Nami giving you Search for Blue events gives you a better chance to see this Raging Tiger in whatever matchup you really need it in. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a Nami expert. I don't play this deck. So I can't really comment on what matchup the Raging Tiger is for specifically. Maybe Blackbeard to get rid of the Burgess. That seems possible. Either way, massive congratulations to Unlikely Hero. And if you want to see any of the other deck lists from this tournament, make sure you check out Eggman's website. And lastly, we had the Virginia Regionals. And we don't have the total player numbers for this one, so I haven't got any conversion rates. But in the top 32, we did have 6 Dofi, 5 Teach, 4 Shanks, 3 Pluffy, 3 Zoro, 3 Usopp, 3 Lucci, 1 Kata, 1 Nami, 1 Reiju, 1 Bonnie, and 1 Boa. So some pretty cool decks making the top. Reiju and Boa both making cut, as well as Katakuri and Nami. Real nice variety. As some people have called it, meta does feel a little bit like a jungle. There's so many decks out there. Really hard to beat all of them. You've just got to pick a deck that you like and see how it goes. Again, notably though, no red green smoker. Look at this. No red green smoker at all. Man, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that we saw no red green smoker in 3 events, man. I hope he does well soon, man. I love that deck. It's such a good fun. And the winner of this one was Young Cash Register. Shout out to that username. That's a cool name. With his purple Luffy deck. Nothing too crazy in this purple Luffy deck. We do see the introduction of the Gamma Knife for the Kid decks. Although Kid decks have been doing pretty poorly this weekend, so who knows if we'll actually see this stay. 3 of the 7 cost Sanji. Rests quite a lot of relevant things at the minute. The 4 cost Basil Hawkins is pretty good to rest. 4 cost Lucky Roo, and some other things as well. Blockers at the end of the game, of course. 3 of the Linlin, 2 of the Luffy is pretty standard. The Linlin is very important into the aggro decks, whereas the Luffy is better into the slower decks, but he is searchable off of lore. Other than that, pretty classic purple Luffy list, but massive congratulations to Young Cash Register for taking down this tournament with Luffy, especially when it did so poorly in Europe. Generally this week, we did see most prices across the board come down. For example, this Sanji, that was around $14, $13 in the past couple of weeks, now down to around 11. Still a little bit crazy, but as I expected, these OP10 prices are slowly falling. Some of the higher rarity cards, such as the SP Nugate, are still pretty ridiculous, but I wouldn't expect those to be falling anytime soon. The BVB Luffy has finally made its way onto TCG Player over in the States, and this is insane. This is a lot cheaper in Europe. If you do have friends in Europe, try and get them to pick you one up. You'll save a lot of money. Now, this week, in terms of the prices, there's a few cards that I want to be looking forward to. And with EBO2 on the horizon, and Green-Purple Luffy looking to be, if not Tier 0, certainly the very, very top of Tier 1. There's sort of 3 cards I want to talk about. So first is this Zorojiro. This at 250, I think is a no-brainer. If you have the starter decks, great. That's all you need. If you don't have the starter decks, and you can get the starter decks, get them. If you can't, this for 250 is really not that bad. This is a staple at 4 in Green-Purple Luffy. I see no reason for that to change in the West. It's a really, really good card. Vanilla stat line. Doesn't neg your hand. Gives you a bit of search. Really good. You can also pick up the treasure rare. The treasure rare of this card is actually kind of reasonable. In all honesty. Let's see if we can find this quickly. You can also pick up the treasure rare for around 30 bucks. Honestly, for this level of cards as a treasure rare, it's really not that bad. But if you're a bit more on a budget, I would just go with the standard version of this ST18 Zorojiro. Very reasonable at $3. Don't be out in the cold when this goes up once the EBO2 comes out. Another card is Electrical Luna. This is just a rare, and this is only like 30 cents. But if you don't have these, get yourself your playset. This is really important in the Green-Purple Luffy deck for mirrors. Also comes up in other matchups against like Doflamingo. You can freeze their whole board, which is pretty cool. And into Purple Luffy does the same, freezes everything up to and including Luffy Taro. But this is especially important for those Green-Purple Luffy mirrors to freeze the whole board and just win you the game if your opponent can't answer this. You may well still be able to get these off your homies. They may have them in their bulk. Your local store, if they do singles, might have these in their bulk or in their binders. But don't sleep on this one. We've seen what some of these rares do. Some of these rares get a little silly and become like $2, $3, $4 a rare. Just get this one while it's 30 cents. Don't be out in the cold. And in terms of a little bit more silly, Usahachi is still like $9. This sucks. This really, really sucks. But It's going nowhere. It's a 4 of in green purple Luffy. It's the best 2k in that deck. It's going to be the 4 of in blue purple Luffy, assuming no crazy bans shake up the meta. If you've got to buy this for $9.50, it feels bad, but I wouldn't wait any longer than you have to on this one, because this card is just going to get more and more and more popular as these next couple of sets come out. And whilst this price obviously does suck now, it may well suck worse in a couple of weeks once EBO2 comes out and more people switch onto these purple straw hat type decks. So looking even further ahead to OP11, the meta in Japan has sort of stabilized. It's a blue-purple Luffy world. Everyone else is just living in it. So what are a few cards that you could get to get ahead of the curve? Of course, we've already just talked about Usahachi. Another one is this Sanji. When the sort of the hype was at its peak, this was up to $36. This is around 25, 26, and that's a similar price to Akos Rayleigh. Well, Akos Rayleigh is significantly less powerful in the current meta than this Sanji is in the OP11 meta. So I do expect this to rise from $25. Certainly once OP11 hype begins, and then once the set comes out even more. This looks close to a tier 0 format in Japan. Not fully willing to declare it as tier 0 because we haven't got the set yet, and we are getting those starter decks which could shake things up. We just don't know what's in them. But for now, it's looking to be like this is, without a doubt, the best deck in a tier of its own, realistically. And if you don't have these Sanjis and you're looking forward to playing Blue Purple Luffy, time's running out before these prices get absolutely silly. We've not for a while seen a secret rare that was truly this important for a tier 0 deck. Don't be out in the cold. This is another one. This is less of a 4 of in this format. This is usually, I don't know, around a 0 to 3 of in these blue purple Luffy decks. Not everyone is playing this, but for $10, you might as well pick up a couple copies of this. I would get at least 2 if you're planning on playing blue purple Luffy, maybe even 3. You probably don't need a playset of this, but this is just a very good card. We'll see play in future purple straw hat decks, I'm sure, of which we look to be getting even more in OP12. So having a couple copies of this is going to be no bad thing. And the last card, you are going to need 4 copies of this for the blue purple Luffy deck. This is 100% staple at 4, and this is the lowest the price has been since January, which is pretty crazy. I would 100% be picking up a playset of these at $3 if I didn't have them yet. OP08, people aren't opening this set because there's not that many like massive hits. The leaders all kind of suck. People don't want to open this set, and if you don't have your Linlins, $3 is very, very reasonable. We've seen what like Dragon did, right? Dragon's like $8, $9. That's from set 7, I think. Set 7 and 8 both weren't particularly popular. So I could see Linlin shooting up to at least $5 once set 11 comes out. So I would get these whilst you still can at a pretty reasonable price. So thank you for watching This Week in One Piece. Let me know what you thought of the reveals. Let me know your thoughts on any other cards you could buy now to get ahead of the game. And what do you think? Do you think Lim's going to continue to win? My money's on no, but who's to say? Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.